Good afternoon. Welcome on in to another episode of From Day One, the afternoon edition. The courts are ready. Today, all I can basically say is he said, she said. Let's get to it because this is going to be a doozy. As we rock through Dominion.
All right. Passing that case, recalling the case of State of Michigan versus Taisha Zerker, case number 21S00318. Are there any opening statements?
People waive opening.
All right.
Defense waives it.
All right. Openings being waived. You may call your first witness, Mr. Burdell.
People call Melissa Floyd.
All right. Your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I sure do.
All right. Thank you. You may lower your hand. Use your witness, Mr. Burdell. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. All right, Ms. Floyd, could you please state your name for the record?
Melissa Ann Floyd.
And Ms. Floyd, I'd like to draw your attention to the date of April 18th of 2021. Now, did something happen at an address on Villa Drive in Ypsilanti Township on that date?
Yes, sir.
And what is at that location? Is it a home or is it a business? Or something
It
else?
is my personal living residence.
All right. Is it an apartment? Is it like a standalone house? What's it like?
It's a townhome.
Okay. And did that incident involve anybody that you see in the courtroom today? The virtual chat.
Yes.
All right. Would you please describe what that person is wearing and say their name for the record? Your Honor, I ask that the court instruct the defendant attorney.
Screen back on and don't do that again, please.
Thank you, Judge. Hi, Ms. Floyd. Can you describe what they're wearing?
Yes, her name is Taisha Zucker. She's wearing a black and white shirt and has look like fake weave on her hair.
Fake weave? What kind of dig do we have to already do here? Come on.
Right. Your Honor, may the record please reflect the identification of the defendant.
Mr. Bannis, any objection?
Your Honor, I'm not sure Ms. Floyd has sufficiently identified my client.
There's only one person wearing a black T-shirt in the courtroom.
That's fine. That's fine. No objection.
All right, thank you.
The record shall reflect.
Thank you, Judge. So how do you know this individual, Ms. Floyd?
Well, to be totally honest, truthfully, I met this woman because she was a Washtenaw County worker I was involved with the CPS case with my son. She worked for this parent partner program, helping other people who's in the CPS, helping other parents get their children back from CPS.
Okay.
And going through our paperwork, she's supposedly has a child, apparently with my child's father. I came to know all this going through my personal paperwork during my case with my son.
Okay. And so is she currently with, what's your child's father's name?
My son's father's name, Ibrahim Faluddin.
And is Ms. Zerker with Mr. Dean? Currently, do they currently have a relationship to your knowledge?
I believe so.
Okay. And were you on friendly terms with her on that April 18th of 2021 date?
No, sir, I was not.
All right. And did you come into contact with her on that date?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right. And how did that contact start? Where were you?
I was standing in the kitchen of my apartment with my back door open,
Mm-hmm.
And she invited herself to walk into my house.
And so when you said she invited herself to walk into your house, were you expecting her?
No,
Was she invited?
no,
Had you previously invited her to just walk into your house like that?
not at all.
And now, what did you say when she first arrived? Well, strike that. What did you do? What was your first reaction when she first walked into your house?
My first reaction was to think to grab a weapon.
Okay, and what did you do?
I did not grab a weapon.
Right. Why were you thinking to do that? Why were you thinking to grab a weapon?
Because this person is like 10 times bigger than I am, and she was coming blatantly, like nonchalantly walked up my stairs and into my kitchen. So I didn't really have time to react, or like I didn't know what to think. I'm like, why are you here?
Okay. And did she say anything when she walked into your home?
No, she just kind of rushed in and grabbed my son.
Okay. And this is the son that is fathered by Mr. Abe Dean, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How old's your son?
He's 5.
All right. What's his name?
Amonte.
How did you said she rushed in and grabbed your son. Did she say anything when she was doing this?
No.
Okay. Did she tell you what she was doing or why she was doing it?
Nope.
Okay. And did she identify herself as was there anybody else? So you mentioned earlier that she was that Ms. Zerker is with CPS?
No, she worked for Judson Center.
What's the Judson Center?
It's a multiple.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, Mr. Verdell, to object. I'm just going to object based on my perception that this might be speculation and not based on personal knowledge.
So, I have a reason for this, Judge. I'm just trying to tease apart and make sure that she was there for personal reasons, not on CPS business, basically.
No.
Well, we'll get you, Mr. Floyd, to ask your rule first. Miss Floyd. Sorry.
Mr. Bannis, why are you? I'm gonna overrule that objection. I think she can testify about what the Justice Center is. She knows.
Okay, thank you.
To your personal knowledge, based on what you know, what is the Judson Center?
From what I know, it's like a foster care agency, adoption agency, I believe.
Okay. And when Ms. Zerker arrived, did she identify herself that she was on professional business?
No.
Okay. Was there anybody else with her at the time?
No.
Did she flash any sort of badge or paperwork or anything?
No.
Okay. And so I believe you said she came in, she didn't really say anything, and then she grabbed your son, Amonte, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then what happened next?
She started talking to me, trying to hug on me. I'm saying, like, get out of my house, don't touch me.
So
like, get out of my house. Why are you here?
If I can stop you, so you said she was trying to hug on you?
Yeah.
Okay. What was she saying? You said she was talking to you and trying to hug on you. What was she saying? Do you remember?
Like, oh, I just want to talk to you, and like other thing. I really don't know, but I just want to talk to you and this and that.
Okay. Do you remember her demeanor? Like, what was her attitude? What was her body language?
Very snarky, very conniving. Like, oh, I'm here without your permission, but very snarky, very like demeaning.
Okay. And what was your response to that?
I didn't know what to do. But I just kept saying, I did not pick up a weapon because I had to think my son was standing right there. I didn't want to do that. So I was trying anything and everything to get this woman to get out of my house.
Okay.
So what I did is I picked my son up out of the kitchen and I went around this woman, put my son in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I put my child in the back seat. I'm going around to the driver's seat. She snatches my son out of the back seat. My father's standing right there at that time.
So, now up to this point, before, other than when she picked up Amante, had there been any kind of physical contact?
Yep.
Okay.
In the house, yep. She had been, chest bumping me, pressing herself up against me, trying to hug on me. I just want to talk to you. I just want to friendly. It's friendly. It's not friendly. And I didn't want her there.
Now, did she say why she was trying to grab your son this whole time?
No.
So you're back in the car, and you said I think you said she snatched Amante out of the car? Was Amante in the back seat or the front seat, or where was he?
I put him in his car seat in the back passenger side.
Okay. And what was your reaction to? Did she say anything before she took him out of the car?
If she would have said it to my father because my father was standing right there.
Okay, but nothing to your knowledge that you heard and could testify to. Okay. And where were you when this was happening, when she was pulling him out of the car?
I had by that time gotten in the driver's seat, shut the door, and started the car.
Okay. And what did you do when she grabbed Amante?
I opened my driver door, exited the vehicle, went around to try to grab my son, at which time she put him down and raised up her fist and like she was going to fight me.
And what was the rest of her attitude like? What was her body language?
Like a bully, like pushy, very, very pushy, like I'm going to run this, I'm doing this, there's nothing you can do about it.
Was that what she was? Is that what she was saying, or is that just what her body language looked like?
You asked me what her body language was.
Okay. And did she say anything?
Did she say anything at which point?
So when she's standing there you said she was standing there like a bully and she had her fist up?
Like this, yeah, but no, she didn't say anything, no.
Okay, and what happened
Record
next?
should reflect that she has held her two fists up in front of her face as if she's in a fighting stance position.
Thank you, Judge. Now, what happened next?
She put my son down, and then she pushed up against me. At that time, I'm standing against my truck, and she's up against me at that time. My father is standing over here.
Okay. And I'm just taking notes. And what happened next?
She was saying things, but I cannot recall what she was saying. And then she said something before that. I don't recall verbatim what it was, but then she slapped me. And my father was standing right there.
Okay, do you remember what, maybe you can't recall verbatim, but do you remember kind of what she was saying before she slapped you?
No, and I was in shock. It happened very. I was just trying to react the best way that I knew how to.
Kind of breaking up there a little bit. I think we got to re-say that. Can you, and let's back up there because we kind of lost connection there for a second. You said you were trying to react the best way that you knew how. And then what happened?
Let's stop her video and see if that might help with the audio quality.
It might.
Lloyd, we're going to stop your video to see if we can hear your voice better, okay, ma'am?
Right, Ms. Floyd,
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we turned your video off because the connection was bad, and sometimes that helps. That's why we did that. That's why the court.
Okay.
So I think you said.
All right.
So let's walk. I kind of lost where we were at here. So you said she was. What was your reaction when she slapped you?
Nothing. Like shock. Like, okay. And then I knew the next step. Really, I didn't do anything because I knew the next step after it was all over. After I did get rid of this woman, I was going straight to the police station to file a report anyway.
Okay. And so, now did she slap you with an open hand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you remember if it was a right hand or a left hand? If you can remember.
She would be facing me, which would make it her left side on the right side of my face.
Okay. And now I know you said you can't recall verbatim what she said, but do you recall kind of anything about what she was saying?
Objection. Just asked and answered. I think she clearly said she didn't remember.
Well, she said she didn't remember verbatim, but I'm asking for just sort of a clarifying question.
Well, actually, I remember it different than either one of you. I think she was saying she didn't remember what she said when she was inside of the home. I don't remember her discussing what she said in detail outside of the home. So I would like it rephrased to discuss what happened outside.
Sure. So just before she slapped you, Miss Floyd, do you remember generally what she was talking about?
No, you know, my main motive of operandi of this whole situation was to defuse the situation, get her out of my presence as fast as possible with as minimal force as possible. So I really wasn't focused too much on what the woman was saying verbally. I was just trying to get her out of my presence in the less aggressive way that I knew how to.
Okay. And so after she slapped you, what happened next?
I believe she just turned around and started walking away, and then some man grabbed her. It wasn't my son's father, but some other man came from the other side of my fence and grabbed Taisha, and then they walked away.
Okay, and was this some man that you'd never seen before?
Some man I've never seen before.
All right, did you eventually find out who that person was?
No, I did not.
Okay. Now, was that the last you saw of Miss Zerker that day?
Yes, it is.
So, Judge, I'm going to share my screen if that's all right.
Yes, you may.
So, and Mr. Banis, these come from the police report. These are on page 14 in the PDF. Those of you following along at home. So, Miss Floyd. Sorry, Judge, doing too many things at once. Miss Floyd, can you see my screen here?
Yes.
All right. Who is this in the picture? Is this you?
Yes, sir.
And we looked at these pictures just before we took earlier today, right?
Uh-huh.
And have
Say yes. I need you to say yes or no, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Have these pictures been edited or changed in any way?
No, sir.
Do they accurately depict how you looked on that day?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
When were they taken?
Just a couple hours after the incident.
Okay. And is there anything you notice about these pictures? About this picture?
No.
And what about this picture? Is there a little redness on that picture that I'm looking at, or?
Objection.
Yeah.
Leading.
Any response to the leading?
There's no marks on the face. Come on.
Any response to the leading? If not, whether it is or not, I agree it's leading.
Judge, I'll move on. I mean, the court can see the pictures for itself. It's a bench trial.
I have no objection to admission of these photos into evidence, by the way, Your Honor. And Mr. Burdell, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And well, Judge, I guess I'll just move to. I'll put these in all as the same exhibit, People's Exhibit 1, and move to publish.
Thank you.
Move to admit.
The court will accept Exhibit 1, which will be how many pictures?
It's just 2.
2 pictures. The first one that you already published and the one you just published now, and I'll receive both of those.
And I will stop sharing.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Ms. Floyd, have you had previous interactions with Ms. Zucker?
Have I had previous interactions with her prior to this incident?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And so, did she ever say why she was over to get your son, or why she was trying to take your son?
No, sir, she did not.
Okay. I have nothing further at this time, Judge.
Thank you. Your witness, Mr. Banner.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hi, Ms. Floyd. I'm the attorney. I represent Ms. Zucker, so I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Now, we're talking about April 18th, 2021, so it was more than a year ago. You testified under oath that Ms. Zucker walked into your home on that day, correct?
Yes.
Do you remember what time of the day it was?
I believe roughly around 2 o'clock.
2 p.m., so 2 in the afternoon?
Yes.
Okay. What's your relation? I'm sorry, what?
Between 2 and 2:30, I believe.
2 p.m. to 2:30. Okay, thank you. Who's the father of Amante?
Ibrahim Dean.
Okay. And what is your current relationship with Mr. Dean?
I haven't spoke to him in a very long time.
How old is Amante?
He is 5.
Do you have any personal knowledge of Ms. Zucker's relationship with Mr. Dean?
She's claimed she has a child with him as well, and they talk on a regular basis.
Okay. So you're saying that to your knowledge, well, of course, you have a child with Mr. Dean who's named Amante.
Yeah.
And you're saying that Ms. Zucker also has a child with Mr. Dean, correct?
That's what she claims, yes. I don't know that for a fact.
Now, does it bother you in any way that Ms. Zucker and Mr. Dean have a child together?
Why would I care about that? I care about my own child.
So I'll just repeat my question. Do you have any bad feelings or negative feelings towards Ms. Zucker because she has a relationship with the father of your child?
No.
Does Ms. Zucker have any legal custody over Amante?
No, sir.
Why would Ms. Zucker, if you have knowledge about it, come over to your house and pick up Amante if she has nothing to do with Amante? Amante is not her child, right?
Right, but sir, I think it's quite the contrary. You asked me if I had some ill feelings about my son's father and this woman having a relationship. Well, maybe she's a little bit jealous that I have a child with him. And she walked in my house on his birthday. Maybe she was giving him a birthday gift. That was on his birthday, actually. 4/18 is my son's father's birthday.
So, did she try to give Amante a birthday gift?
No, April
Okay.
18th is Ibrahim's birthday. I feel like this woman has some animosity toward me.
Why do you feel that?
Because this woman has also put herself. My son's father previously tried to file custody through front of the court, and her name is in that custody paperwork that my son's father had to type up for like a request for custody. You have to write something, reasons and witnesses why you feel that you should have custody. Well, and this woman's name, Taisha Zucker, was in his paperwork as it relates to custody for my child. And I can prove that.
So are you saying that Mr. Dean, the father of Amante, is trying to obtain custody of Amante?
I do believe so, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You stated at some point when the prosecutor was asking you questions that Ms. Zerker slapped you, correct, on April 28th? On April 18th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And those photos of you were from that same day, correct?
Yes, sir.
But there was no mark on your face, right? Would you agree to that?
No, she did not leave a mark.
So, would you agree that Ms. Zerker has really no connection to Amante other than the fact that Mr. Dean is the father of Amante?
I believe she's a little envious and wants to maybe take my child and raise my child with him. But no, the woman has no right, no reason to have anything on this earth to do with my child. None whatsoever.
Thank you, Ms. Floyd. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Any redirect, Mr. Burdell?
Not at this time, Judge.
Thank you. All right, you may proceed.
Mr. T.J. Floyd. People call T.J. Floyd.
Hit the button that says unmute, sir.
Okay, unmute.
You're all set. There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear
Okay.
that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You may lower your hand. Your witness, Mr. Floyd, please make
Yes.
sure that when questions are yes or no questions, you say yes or no. No mm-hms or uh-uhs, because the court can't pick those up, okay? So you have to say yes or no.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Thank you. You may proceed, Mr. Burdell.
All right, thank you, Judge. All right, Mr. Floyd, I'd like to draw your attention to April 18th of 2021. Did something unusual occur that day which brings you here?
Yes.
And did that occur on Villa Drive in Ypsilanti Township?
Yes.
And what is that address?
578 Villa Drive, I believe.
I mean, well, I guess, what is there? Is it a business? Is it a home? Is it something else?
Oh, it's apartment complex. Harbor One.
And who lives there?
My daughter.
And what were you doing there that day?
She picked me up and took me over there to get an inhaler for my COPD. She had an extra one.
Okay. And did you come into contact with the defendant, Miss Taisha Zerker?
Yes.
Had you met her before that day?
No.
And where were you when you first came into contact with her?
I was standing in the yard at the back door where my daughter had her truck parked.
All right. And how did you come into contact with her? What was she doing?
Well, she walked up from around the corner of the apartment building, and that's how I first seen her.
Did she say anything?
Yes, she asked me if Melissa was around, or she may have asked me who I was. I said I was Melissa's father. And she asked me if Melissa was around.
Right. And what'd you say?
I said yes.
Right. And do you remember her attitude or her demeanor at the time?
Seemed normal to me at the time.
Okay. And
or like I said, I didn't know, anything about her.
right. And what happened next?
She asked me where Melissa was. I said she was in the house, and then she walked in the house there, and I heard screaming and arguing, and my daughter telling her to get out of the house and calling each other names and such.
Okay. And could you hear what they were arguing about?
Basically, her being in the house. I heard my daughter say, "You just walk right in," and this and that, and something like that, to that effect. I didn't know that her and my daughter weren't getting along or whatever,
And now you had not invited Mrs. Zerker over to the home that day, correct?
No, I'd never spoke to her before that moment.
Okay. And now you said you heard arguments between Melissa Floyd and the defendant, Miss Zerker, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so what were you doing while this was happening?
Standing outside the apartment.
Right. And how long do you think the argument went on?
Probably just a couple minutes.
Okay. And what happened next?
Well, they both came out of the apartment and proceeded with the altercation.
Okay. So who came out of the apartment first?
I'm not sure. Probably, was it Taisha?
Okay. And then what happened? What was everybody's demeanor at that time?
They were both pretty fired up, arguing. I was kind of dumbfounded about it. I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you remember what they were arguing about?
No, I don't.
Okay.
About her being in the apartment, I guess. Her walking in, and I guess my daughter didn't want her nowhere around her to know where she lived or anything. I guess I don't know.
And what happened
from it?
Okay, understood. And what happened next?
Well, then we were standing by the vehicle, and I don't know really what happened next. Everything happened so quickly. I was telling him to calm down, and then Taisha went to take my daughter's son out of the back seat, and my daughter called her more names, and then she ended up slapping my daughter.
Okay. And this is Amante, is your daughter's son?
Yes.
And you said she slapped your daughter, that being the defendant?
Yes.
Did she say anything just before or after she slapped your daughter?
Oh, my daughter went hysterical, started screaming, and, she was hit, and to put her son down and leave her alone and to leave, and, that's
all right, and then what happened next?
More cussing back and forth and name calling, and Daisha threatening to take her son, and I don't know. It was just one big mess, two women going at it.
And did Miss Zerker eventually leave?
Yes.
All right, describe what happened when she left. How did she leave?
Well, she just walked back around the corner where she, came up to the apartment first at, and my daughter was all hysterical over it, and, saying she had no right to walk up and hit her, and, the argument shouldn't have. I was trying to apologize to my daughter. I said, hey, I'd have tried to restrain her from walking in if I'd have known, that you guys you didn't like her. I didn't know her.
Okay. And was that the last you saw of Miss Zerker that day?
Yes, that's the only time I've ever seen her.
And do you recall about what time of day this occurred?
Probably, I don't know, 1 o'clock ish. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It was daytime, I know that. Not real late. 11 o'clock, 12, 1, something like that. I don't really know. Something like that.
Sometime in the early afternoon, though, basically.
Yes,
Really?
yes.
Okay. Judge, I have nothing further at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, your witness, Mr. Bannis.
Mr. Floyd, I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. You said you are Melissa's father, is that correct?
Melissa, yes.
Are you her biological father?
Yes.
You're not her foster father?
Objection as to
No.
relevance.
Response to the relevance objection, Mr. Bannis.
Well, that's fine, Your Honor. He already testified he's her biological father. I'll move on. So I'll withdraw the question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you had never seen Ms. Zerker prior to this date, is that correct?
That's correct. Never have.
Okay. And you really don't have any knowledge about why she came over allegedly to the location?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about that. I don't know. Seemed like she was trying to take my daughter's son, and I don't know if she was going to take more to his biological fathers or something, or just snatch him up or something, or try to knock my daughter off her square. So I think that her boyfriend.
Okay, I asked the question and you answered it, so that's
Right.
fine. Thank you, sir. The prosecutor can follow up if he has additional questions for you.
Okay.
So I think you testified this occurred sometime in the early afternoon, to the best of your recollection. Is that true?
Yes, it was daylight. I wouldn't say it was late afternoon. I'd say early. I don't know, something like that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Or slightly before noon. I'm not sure. It was around that time of day.
Okay. So what's your relationship to Amante? Are you his grandfather?
Yes.
Okay. I believe you, correct me if I'm wrong, you said that Ms. Zerker walked into the house, correct?
Correct.
And you were outside at that time?
Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like, but correct me if I'm wrong, you really don't know if Melissa allowed Ms. Zerker into the house or not, because you were outside at the time.
No, I didn't hear anybody say come in. Like, you know.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions for Mr. Floyd, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any redirect, Mr. Fidel?
No, Judge.
And with that, we're going to leave that court case for this afternoon. Come back tomorrow, and we will pick up from there on this case of she said, she also may say, as we haven't had the defendant come to the witness box yet. As always, please help us to get us to the goal of 50,000 views, 1,000 subscribers, so Boxy sends those nice red packages we can send out to you all, and Google puts us on the algorithms. Like, share, and subscribe, be kind to one another, and release the Krakens as we march along this afternoon and every afternoon here from day one. For auditors, Karen's coming up in the evening, and Art Bell chases storms in the middle of storm season. Storm Chasers tonight on Art Bell in the overnight. Till then, have a great afternoon. We'll see you tonight.